if we do play with less than the best from either program, is there any point in doing it? And if we do, where's the integrity level of it?
Your season starts very soon. What's it been like preparing for this strange year?
Well, I think I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's been frustrating, because it's, not like I'm out there playing or putting the pads on or doing anything like that, physically straining. But when you go through that emotional roller coaster and your entire livelihood depends obviously on these games happening, and that doesn't just define my career, it's just hundreds of people here and thousands across the country, is frustrating, because you go back to June and we were all very optimistic and it seemed like the country was getting a better handle on the pandemic and college football would happen. And we operated that way for a while. The student athletes came back to campus for voluntary workouts, and it was remarkable to see that process and what our medical folks went through to make that happen for them. Then you get into July and the numbers just start to skyrocket nationally again, particularly in some college football hotbeds like Florida and Texas, and you start to get a little bit uneasy. You get to that portion of time that you were just referring to, Kurt, where all of a sudden over the course of a weekend, it looked like all hope was dead. And you were hearing that from some very prominent reporters and some very prominent sources throughout the country. And I think we were all of the belief that if one of the Power Five conferences opted out of the fall portion of the calendar, they all would, because I could never have imagined a scenario where it would be a fractured Power Five and 3 would play and 2 wouldn't. And it's just been absolutely bizarre, because even after the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12 decided to press forward, there were all these hurdles, the biggest of which was students coming back to campus. And all the things that we worried would happen that I believe probably should have shut things down have happened, and they have just been persistent in pushing forward. So you open up Twitter or whatever social media you get your news on, and it's dire and it's bad, and this happened at UNC, and this happened at NC State, and this happened at Notre Dame, and then bang, our students come back a couple weeks ago, and we're dealing with it now. And all of those things, when we get our opener postponed against NC State, and you're like, when is it going to be stopped? And it just hasn't been yet. So I think bizarre is the best way to describe it.
And the first game is September 19th, if the schedule's still current. And I suppose all these things as we get close have a little more potential fluidity, but it seems like it's going to happen. And what is happening then day to day with the players, with the staff, to make sure that everything's on the up and up and that there will be a game and they know that everyone's there, or they can be confident that everyone's been tested and the virus is going to spread through the team?
Yeah, that's the issue right now. I think the fear has somewhat shifted from are we going to be able to play at all to are we going to be forced to play at much less than 100%? Because as I mentioned, the virus has arrived here in Blacksburg, which is just a small mountain college town, which was basically a very safe bubble, even while the country was experiencing a surge in cases. But when the students came back, the virus came with them, and our sports programs have certainly not been immune to that. And we've seen some cases numbers rise, not just with football, but with other programs. And as the days tick away and we get closer to the 19th, that becomes the fear, because at this point, should anyone test positive, they're inside that 2-week window and they're not going to play. And that's definitely something that is literal right now with the Virginia Tech program as you're looking at your depth chart, because you're not just going into some soft non-conference opener. We're opening up for the first time since the 70s with Virginia, which in this area of the country is a massive deal. So I think it's for both programs, that fear of who are we going to arrive at game day with? Because again, it doesn't seem like it's going to get shut down. And if we do play with less than the best from either program, is there any point in doing it? And if we do, where's the integrity level of it?